XTV's news broadcast for Thursday, December 4, 2025. Making the headlines tonight, opposition senator raised many concerns about Commerce Bight port upgrade. PSU president says they had a fruitful meeting with government regarding SARA transition. And the Google Maps labeling of Sarstoon Island sparks concern. We take our first break and return with the news in detail.
It's an massive season with massive deals and rewards at Penny's. From now through December 31st, earn double B-Bucks on store-wide purchasing every Saturday. That's right, 2 times the B-Bucks, which means 2 times the cash back when shopping at Penny's. Plus, get even more rewards with B-Bucks builders on home goods, tiles, appliances, paints, and lights. And don't forget, there's also massive deals and discounts on tiles and the best brands in paints like Benjamin Moore and BH. Rewards, deals, B-Bucks. You can get it all this massive season only at Penny's. Quality and savings.
Need to submit your sickness benefit claim online and have a physical medical certificate? Here's how you can do it. First, go to ssbportal.org.bz and log into your My Social Security account. Next, on your dashboard, click Benefits and choose Forms. Review the requirements, then click Continue to proceed. Click Apply under Sickness Benefit to start your claim. Review and confirm your banking information. If it is not correct, select No and follow the steps to update your banking details. If your banking information is correct, select Yes. Next, if your illness is not related to an injury at work, select No and proceed to upload your medical certificate. Select your claim period and confirm your employer details. Read the declarations and click each to agree. Click Submit and you're done. A confirmation email will be sent to you. Your employer will also receive an email with your claim details and a request for your salary information. If needed, submit your sickness benefit claim online and receive real-time status updates.
One of the reasons I applied for a credit card at Atlantic Bank was because I travel a lot. I'm always going here and there and everywhere, and having that card made my life so much easier. I could literally charge everything. I had no issues. I don't have to worry about carrying money, and that has been one of the most effective points. Using my Atlantic Bank credit card has improved my life drastically. I learned to budget properly, the online service that it gives, the features that it has, and also knowing that when I'm shopping online, it has a protective feature for it. Having an Atlantic Bank credit card, especially having 2 sons that are always wanting something. They want to shop here and they want to shop there. The good part about it is I get to look at Atlantic online to see where my spending is and to make sure I'm staying in budget.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Want all the postpaid perks without the commitment? Now you can with Smart Supercharged prepaid plans. All the talk, text, and data you need. No contracts, no hassle. Pay upfront for your package and enjoy total freedom. No commitments, just simple, flexible plans that fit your life. Pick your power, Core, Edge, or Prime. Prepaid plans ready when you ready. Commit to no commitments and get yours today. Dial 7526 or *100 pound key. Use the Smart app or visit a Gimme Dollar agent to purchase today. Smart, bringing people together.
Yes, I want to do farming. Fruits, vegetables, anything. You don't have to go there and buy, you have your own thing.
This never happened when I come here too, baby. That's what you do.
200 lots, more lots than people with land of Equasia. So when I pick them when I'm buying yet to get land.
You could look at all of them, how happy they are. They're so, man, these people don't know how to express themselves right now.
People who have never had a land before, will live here for years, finally get something to say, okay, I have something in my name, you know.
So when you get your piece of land, you have to hold on to your land. You have something to pass on to your picnic.
Use your land, make it useful.
Don't sell your land because it is gold. You're investing in your own selves and your children down the road.
I know how to say thank again because it's a great achievement.
It's Christmas time at Brothers Habet and Habet, and we have some great gifts for you, like our signature 15% off all Berger, Penta, and domestic paints, and 30 to 40% off selected and discontinued colors, 15% off all power tools, 20 to 30% off select tiles, 20 to 65% off light fixtures, and 40% off sunlight windows and mirrors. Also, GST free days on December 6th and 20th. Plus, for every $50 you spend, get a chance to win a $500 gift certificate in our 12 Days of Christmas giveaway. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from all of us at Brothers Habet and Habet.
Today we gather not only to plan but also to reaffirm our commitment to excellence, modernization, and serving the Belizean people with integrity, competence, and a sense of vision and purpose. One of the most powerful ways to address crime is through continuous professional development.
This training strategic planning workshop is not just another meeting or another administrative exercise. It is a deliberate investment in the professionalism, readiness, and the future of the department. Effective training improves outcomes. And when outcomes improve, we gain public trust. That trust is a pillar of policing. Without it, no department can succeed. But training by itself is not enough. The quality of our policing will only improve if what is learned in the classroom, workshops, and field exercise is implemented on the ground. And you, the commanders, are the critical link between training and performance. You as leaders will shape the training agenda for the next 3 years. You are the ones who will carry this plan back to your formations. You are the ones who will turn strategy into actions.
Welcome back with your news. I am Drea Espinosa. With the recent spotlight on the $50 million upgrade of the Commerce Bight port over the controversy regarding alleged involvement of criminally investigated Mexican magnate Raul Roca's legacy holding in the project, we went back to the discussion in the Senate on the matter. The Southern Deep Port Development Facility Bill 2024 was passed in July last year. The bill sets out tax exemptions and concessions for the 30-year term of the agreement signed with government as a public-private partnership. Notably, the government would be granted 20% shares, and at the end of the period, the assets would be turned over to the government in exchange for its shares. Then lead opposition Senator Michael Parafit raised multiple concerns about the 36-page agreement. In particular, Parafit stated that apart from Basilio Zabane, who signed the agreement on behalf of the developer SDPDL, there was no disclosure of who the funders are, and there was no indication of the monies having already been secured as stated.
Whereas, reciters, the developer has accumulated substantial experience and expertise in the development and management of port facilities and logistics. Huh? They have? Where's the proof of that track record? Who are these people? Which ports have they built before? Which of these operations have they been a part of before for them to have this expert and logistical know-how that is said in the agreement here? We don't know. You expect us to support something for which we are in the dark on critical details. Madam President, it's almost every page of this agreement, you know. it says here it makes provisions for bonds. The developer will be allowed to float bonds and all of that after this agreement and law. Float bonds for what? I thought you already have the $50 million. We are again approaching a situation where people are getting exemptions and agreements with the government and have no money. Where is the money? Can we say that that person has proven to the government that they have the $50 million and where they have gotten that $50 million from? Those are things we need to know, Madam President. There are conditions precedent to this agreement. 5.11, the developer has concluded, the funding has concluded. This is from March, you know. The funding agreements pursuant which it has obtained are third-party funding for the development of the project on terms acceptable to the developer, and the developer has confirmed to the government in writing that it has obtained such funding. Now, has it said in writing that it has obtained such funding, or has it proven to the government that it has obtained this funding?
Fairfield questioned why the agreement provides for the developer to make loans and issue bonds.
This developer can, right after this law is passed and he has his permission or whatever, could borrow money or put itself in a position where it is beholden to a third party, for example, and without the need for any government input or any government approval. The developer can just sell it next week to anybody it wants. Who, if you think we don't know who is involved, no, they could sell it to somebody next week that we really don't know who it is. Madam President, it says that the government has already covered it with the $50 million. Then, the developer shall be permitted to grant first priority, first ranking fixed and floating charges and other encumbrances over the entire project, which begs the question from that next section. Why give the developer that right if the developer has the $50 million? If the developer has the $50 million and has demonstrated to the government that it has the $50 million, why do you need to be encumbered in any way? Why would you need to float bonds? Why would you need to sell shares? This sounds like one of two things. This is one Drea's project, or there are people involved in this project the government doesn't want us to know.
Fairfield directed attention to what happens if the developer defaults on repayment of loans.
Funders. Like, you just don't need the person where they fund this thing. So, assuming it's Emilio Zabane because his name is on the agreement, he gets his funding from who knows who. He doesn't have to tell the government who he get the funding from, you know. But it turns out he's not performing, or he can't pay back the funds. As the developer will, on the basis of funding agreements, procure project financing for the transactions set out, government and developer agree to enter into good faith negotiation with the funders regarding conclusion and execution of a direct agreement or customary terms, which will include funders' step-in rights. The funders in this case, Madam President, will have what is called step-in rights. So if for some reason this money is borrowed by this company, and whether they can't pay it back or pretend to can't pay it back or were not able to pay it back in the first place, because that was maybe a part of the plan, the funders step in and take over the project. Now, right now, we're in the National Assembly of this country. We're in the National Assembly of a sovereign nation trying to decide whether or not we will approve this bill, and we don't know who these funders are. We don't know who. If the current developer cannot fulfill his obligations to the funders, will come and take over our port. That is dangerous. There are people funding this person who are in the wings waiting that if he fails, they step in. Who those people are, we don't know. What can the government do about that? Nothing. Article 10, Section 29. The developer may subcontract and otherwise delegate in favor of any person. Any person. This agreement or the rights, benefits, and obligations hereunder, or any portion thereof. Any person.
We know that neither PUP Senator Chris Koyi nor the leader of the government business, Eamon Courtney, responded to the concerns raised by Parafit. Courtney merely described Parafit's contributions as petty and personal, quote, by those who are opposing everything, end quote. As the Financial Secretary Joseph Waite has oversight over the Belize Tax Service Department, when we caught up with him on Wednesday, we asked about the delayed transition into the Semi-Autonomous Revenue Authority, and in particular, the concerns of over 100 staff members of the department regarding the change. We note that the Minister of the Public Service, Henry Usher, has publicly stated that the government has not addressed the concerns raised by the Public Service Union, which is the bargaining agent of the staff.
SARA is an acronym for Semi-Autonomous Revenue Administration, and there's a number of things. First of all, we have to do a legislation to create the thing. The legislation has to provide for what the duties and responsibilities, the relationship between that administration and the government. They're collecting government money as an agent, in a sense, paying it in. But very importantly, there's also the question of HR, human resources and staff. So it's a work in progress. In fact, we're meeting with the unions to see, because we recognize that staff have, your staff or your employees, they have certain rights and have certain responsibilities, and we don't want to misstep and do anything that would be first outside the law, but more importantly, something that would be negative rather than positive to the system.
Okay. So there will be meetings, and I know that there have been internal meetings with staff, but the PSU has said we as the bargaining agent need to be present.
Well, it's coincidental, but we're meeting with them this afternoon.
PSU President Dean Flowers confirmed this morning that a meeting Wednesday afternoon with government officials was fruitful for the union. He says they are awaiting a letter from government today, and thereafter they need to meet with the membership before he can comment to the media. Concern was raised on Wednesday when the media was pointed to Sarstoon Island being labeled on Google Maps as Isla Sarstoon, Guatemala, albeit misspelled. Belize has historically claimed Sarstoon Island as part of its territory. A law enforcement official subsequently pointed out that Google Maps still clearly shows the border running south of the island and therefore within Belize's sovereign territory. We note that places on Google Maps are labeled either by Google itself using official names and data sources, or by users who would utilize features like add a missing place and private labels. Today, someone else took it upon themselves to add a different English label that reads Sarstoon Island, Belize Territory. On Wednesday's newscast, we reported that the president of the Belize Flats Fishery Association was sounding the alarm on the Resilient Bold Belize project, which falls under the Blue Bond and Finance Permanence Unit in the Office of the Prime Minister. According to Garbutt, there was insufficient consultation done, and those who were consulted did not fully grasp what it is about. Today, Garbutt, along with representatives from different fishery stakeholders from across the country, gathered in Belize City to fully explain their stance and to call on the government to have a proper consultation with the wider fishing community in the country. Garbutt says the project's goal is to increase full marine protected areas by 16% from 4 to 20%. Garbutt today said that makes it seem as though Belizean fisherfolk are the threat to marine life.
Let's target the threat when it comes to conservation or preservation of anything. Let's target not just the money from the donor, But let's figure out first what is the threat. And none of these people sitting up here, commercial fishers, tour guides, are not the threat. People, even at that meeting, didn't understand that full protection meant you're not able to even catch bait, Mr. Glenn. You remember that part? Not even catch bait. They raise their hand and I say, yes, we're there with this thing, with this, that. They didn't fully understand.
There was a meeting scheduled today with government representatives and representatives from only the Placencia Tour Guide Association and the Belize Flats Fishery Association. Ultimately, the two associations elected to request a postponement. Glenn Ely of the Placencia Tour Guide Association explained that they prefer to wait for a consultation with as many fisher folk as possible.
I was really looking forward to that meeting today because when I heard about this a couple of weeks ago, I think it was Ewart who brought it to my attention, and I saw the map. As a traditional fisherman in that area there, I realized that we need to just have an open forum. I understand that consultation was done. We too, as Belizean, we have to blame ourselves sometimes. We don't like going to a meeting, we don't like consultation, but it's important. And for us, when I saw the map, I said, this don't look too correct. And I say that because after reading up a little bit, and I hear that not even catch and release will be allowed, I think that was a signal for me to at least get up and say, man, can we have a sober conversation here? Can we look at those areas? Because what I saw there was there's a lot more pressure that will come on those areas that are open. If that size of area will be closed off, and we have all these fisher folk, all these tour guides going into that area, and all of a sudden they will not be able to because not everybody snorkel and dive. A lot of them fishing, and so if they are not allowed to go in there and just do sport fishing, it begs the conversation. And so I'm a little disappointed that we're not having that forum because I think it would have been a better exchange with the authorities because their work is also important.
Nigel Martinez, the director of the Belize Federation of Fishers, said that meaningful consultations need to be organized and said the ministry needs to formulate a better approach for better results.
We have said categorically that you cannot call a consultation with a small group of people. One of the questions that we had asked, when you look at the different zones and areas, these areas represent hundreds of fisher folks, tour guides, and other stakeholders. So for us to have a consultation, you want to identify a percentage of those people to get a meaningful consultation, to get the correct feedback that you need in order to make and implement changes. That was not done. We continue to call on the ministry that the approach that they are taking is a top-down approach. What Ewart mentioned, we are from grassroots. We are a bottom-up approach. Without taking that approach, you will not get through to the fisher folks, you will not get through to the tour guides, you will not get through to the stakeholders whose livelihood depends on the marine resources. So the approach of the Federation right now is to continue to advocate for consultation, meaningful consultation, to include everyone. We are not seeing that. And here is where we have the challenges.
After the break, former Belize Technical College teachers launch book preserving 48 years of history. Stay with us.
When Shell V-Power flows through your engine, confidence flows through you. Choose the fuel that 100% cleans critical engine parts and keeps your engine performing like new.
Driving around, particularly during this holiday season, can be quite an experience. Families are out shopping and the streets are buzzing with excitement. It reminds me that this season is all about connections, and it starts with how we treat each other, even on the road. When I'm behind the wheel, I always remind myself that being on the road is more than just following the rules. It's about looking out for each other and making sure we all get home safely to our families. This season, let's continue to be alert and be kind on the road. Be courteous, give way, and stay safe. A message from BEL.
Un grupo de gente que hemos trabajado muy duro, y la tierra es para la gente de Bellavista. ¿Para qué? Para que los jóvenes puedan tener tierra. ¿Para qué? Para que los jóvenes puedan desarrollarse en el futuro. Algo que les hacía falta por mucho tiempo. Nuestros padres vienen de las fincas bananeras. Somos gentes que hemos sufrido mucho. Y ustedes como jóvenes se merecen mejores oportunidades.
If you didn't have land before, you will have land now. Once you have land, you have wealth.
I think they want to build, they want to settle.
I'm already having dreams of my home and everything.
You know, the words are just, I'm really excited. I'm really happy. I can finally begin to build a house.
This is just a great feeling, you know.
Mi amigo es un hermano, una persona para el pobre. ¿Estamos de acuerdo?
Nando's Wholesale is your market leader in Belize's wholesale industry when it comes to high-quality products at the most reasonable and competitive prices. With over 40 years in the wholesale business, Nando's Wholesale embraces the partnership of the hotel industry in Belize by providing world-renowned brands in wines, seasonings, condiments, and cleaners in industrial sizes, as well as small and large kitchen appliances and equipment. Nando's also takes pride in providing one of the quietest and most durable air conditioning systems in Belize with technical support and spare parts. Nando's Wholesale. Professional, reliable, effective, and prompt. Nando's Wholesale always delivers. Visit us at www.nandos.bz or send an email to nandos@nandos.bz. Or, even better yet, give us a call today at 222-500 or 280-8080 to speak to one of our sales representatives today.
Need to submit your sickness benefit claim online and have a physical medical certificate? Here's how you can do it. First, go to ssbportal.org.bz and log into your My Social Security account. Next, on your dashboard, click Benefits and choose Forms. Review the requirements, then click Continue to proceed. Click Apply under Sickness Benefit to start your claim. Review and confirm your banking information. If it is not correct, select No and follow the steps to update your banking details. If your banking information is correct, select Yes. Next, if your illness is not related to an injury at work, select No and proceed to upload your medical certificate. Select your claim period and confirm your employer details. Read the declarations and click each to agree. Click Submit and you're done. A confirmation email will be sent to you. Your employer will also receive an email with your claim details and a request for your salary information. If needed, submit your sickness benefit claim online and receive real-time status updates.
They're not just Christmas season, they're $1 million season. Because sometimes the biggest blessing come in the shape of a light ticket. This Christmas, the best gift could just be a ticket for $1 million. The $1 million jackpot draws December 20th. Buy your ticket now at any certified Bolito seller on the For We Bolito app or at forwebolito.bz. Go buy your ticket today for a chance to make your Christmas season extra special.
Sir, your item is ready for viewing.
Whether you are a busy person or stuck in traffic or having an adverse or very demanding circumstance, tension builds up, causing you to be stressed out. Stress attacks everyone, anytime, any age. And stress is a killer. Palm City? It's best to be alive than dead. So visit Freetown Drugstore to get options to relieve stress and to relax your mind.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you today? I'm so stressed out. Okay, I'm saying I can help right now. When I this daily, for 10 days, I am good after that, okay? Okay.
Freetown Drugstore, 28 Freetown Road, where you are better off alive than dead. Freetown Drugstore, telephone 223-2876.
Belize, it's that time again. GST-free weekends are back on December 6th, 7th, 20th, and 21st. Just in time for big savings for Christmas. On these weekends, most local retail goods will be GST-free at checkout. That includes frequently bought standard rated goods such as furniture, appliances, electronics, clothing and footwear, Christmas decorations, curtains, rugs, Marley, toys, and grocery items like seasonings, mixed essences, mixed fruits, and soft drinks. Everything you need to make your December more affordable. And good news for the holiday cooks. Picnic shoulder ham, smoked ham leg, and imported turkey are 0 rated all December long. And before you leave the store, always take a quick look at your receipt. You should see the GST removed or discounted automatically. So that means more savings and more room in your Christmas budget. So Belize, let's shop smart this Christmas season. December 6th, 7th, 20th, and 21st, GST-free weekends, brought to you by Belize Tax Services.
There was a shooting in Belize City at around 4 this afternoon at the corner of West Canal and Dean Street. The victim was transported to the hospital for treatment. We'll have more details as they become available. As we reported, Mesopotamia Area Rep. Honorable Lee Mark Chang called out the Bresenio administration at the last House meeting for engaging in the same unlawful practice for which the PUP had challenged former Prime Minister Dean Barrow in court, of $209.6 million in supplementary appropriations. $78 million was for money spent in fiscal year 2024-2025, which ended on March 31, 2024. We asked Financial Secretary Joseph Waite what has prevented them from complying with the Finance and Audit Reform Act.
Well, the thing is this: budgeting is a bit of a combination of art and science. You can never predict it all. Huh? Some things come up in between. Subsequently, the Finance and Audit Act does provide for spending in emergency situations. You go back to Parliament as quickly as you can afterwards. The money is not misspent, you know. I mean,
it was the same thing under the previous one. It's not that it was misspent; it was that there wasn't prior approval.
Now the thing is this: also, you know, the way the act was taken up from other countries that have a sitting parliament that just meets almost on a continuous basis. So if the money bill, it can go there, a money supplement can go. We have sometimes maybe once a month, once every 6 weeks or so. But I guess, you know, there's no system is perfect. And we could do more. I think we could do a little more rapid, more frequent, you know. But the thing is to ensure that the budgeting is as accurate as possible in the very beginning. So to avoid having to do the supplementaries. Supplementaries is a fact of life, you know, in our financial system. I met it when I first joined the government. I won't tell you how long ago, you know. In past years, and sometimes we've done a number of years. That doesn't make it correct, but I'm just saying it's a fact of life. Huh?
During today's joint Fisher Folk press conference, many of them voiced their support for conservation. However, they were adamant that the conservation measures used must be effective and should include community engagement and the enforcement of proper protection. Nigel Martinez, the director of the Belize Federation of Fishers, said with the loss of the Nassau grouper and Glover's Reef, it is obvious that what is being done currently is not working. He also lamented that the funds received by the government for conservation purposes does not trickle down to enforcement or to the grassroots fisher folk.
One other point that I want to make that is very critical. I don't think none of us up here is against conservation. We are for conservation. But one of the crucial points that I need to make, very, very important, The Debt for Nature swap gave the conservation community $84 million US. An endowment, $23 million US that will accrue in 2041 to $90+ million. That's almost $350 million in 4 decades. The conservation community is well taken care of. Here is where the problem comes in. That amount of money is not trickling down to enforcement. It's not trickling down to the grassroots fisher folks whose livelihood depends on the resource. That is where we have a major problem. Some of you all may recall in Glover's, the Nassau grouper has been wiped out completely. And this is not me saying it. The research is there. They have been managing and governing Glover's for decades. And to have the Nassau grouper wipe out right underneath their noses, that sends significant signal that we are doing something wrong. So I am pleading the millions of dollars that is coming into conservation. We need to put that money where it deserves.
Fishing, especially in Belize, tends to be one of those livelihoods passed down from one generation to another. It becomes part of the culture, especially in rural coastal communities where knowledge, techniques, and even stories are passed down from generation to generation, transforming them into something like a ritual. It was the point that was brought forward today during the Fisherfolk press conference. Jalima Gold, a member of the Placentia Tour Guide Association, said that under the Resilient Bull Belize project, they will be boxed out from areas they traditionally use to fish.
One thing I want to bring up that nobody has brought up yet is that Glenn could remember this. My great-grandpa, my grandpa, and my dad, they all fished in this same area. And nobody is bringing up the fact or anything about traditional or cultural rights that we have to these areas. So that's one aspect that I just want to bring up, because protection is very important, but also protecting our culture and our traditions, because I now can say that my kids can't go fish where their great-great-grandparents fish because of other things. So that's just one thing that I wanted to bring up that I don't see in the conversation a lot, but we have to protect our cultural traditions as well.
Former educators at the Old Belize Technical College came together to write a book capturing nearly half a century of history, memories, and milestones of the institution that once stood as Belize's leading center for technical and vocational education. The publication Writings on the Technical High School in Belize Technical College, 1952 to 2000, documents the rich legacy of the school from its early beginnings in the 1950s to its final years at the turn of the millennium. The authors and former teachers of the institution say the publication is a labor of love aimed at preserving a significant chapter in Belize's educational development. Speaking at the launch, they reflected on years spent shaping young minds and maintaining an academic environment that balanced theory, innovation, and practical skill. They noted that Belize Technical College not only trained students in engineering, science, and vocational disciplines, but also produced leaders who went on to serve in fields across the country and abroad. We spoke to the two authors, Leonard Mortis and Vernon Card.
It was an idea of mine, because what happened is that in 2021, a very close and dear friend who also taught at the Belize Technical College had died, but I was unable to go to the funeral because of the COVID, 10 people, family members. And I was saying on a WhatsApp group that we had as about 40 different technical teachers and associates, that something, our people are dying and they're taking with them the story of the Belize Technical College. We need to have something written for posterity. So, you know, when I said that, Mr. Card, the co-author, he immediately started to write, as he said, from memory. And then I did part 2 of the book, which deals with the more deeper research. So I went at the archives department. When I was doing work, I had to take my immunization card. I had to have my mask. So, you know, it was in deep COVID. And I did all my research at the archives, looking at all things there, all newspapers, the Daily Clarion, the Belize Billboard. I went to the National Library in Belmopan. I did interviews with people from the beginning and people from it, you know, and students. And I put all of that together. So my part 2 is more the more serious history of the college. But it is complemented by the first part, which looks at what was happening, you know, because I couldn't find anything on who won the Relaton in a certain year, and Mr. Card has all that information stored in his mind, very sharp man, no? So that was my role, to get the history, deep history, and put some of my, because I was at the end, to put some of what I experienced, especially in regards to the amalgamation from the Belize Technical College to the UB, because the Belize Technical College in 2000, August, became a part of the UB. 5 institutions came together, tertiary level institutions, and formed the UB. And Belize Technical College was a part of that. So I was within that transition because I also went over to the Belize, to the University of Belize. So I witnessed that. So some of that is in my writing and the challenges that we went through during that time.
Some time ago during COVID, you know, some of our staff members, we had a little group that was chatting, right? And some of them were dying, and so Mr. Martis suggested that we get a book down because, you know, with the old folks going, sooner or later we wouldn't know anything else about the college, right? And so based on that, we started writing the book. My information was simple because I just wrote from my memory. There was no research or anything like that, right? All that you have in the first part of the book was my memory, so that was easy. Right? I didn't do all the hard work like him. From the onset, from the school opened its doors to students in 1952, the institution has been producing all the various people in science and technology for the country, right? In all fields, in engineering, in medicine, doctors, marine scientists, meteorologists, agricultural scientists, you know, nurses, etc., right? And so we figured that even today, there are still people who graduate from here that are holding senior posts in Belize, right? For example, the CEO of the Belize Electricity Board, Mr. John Mencias, he's a technical graduate. The chief engineer, Mr. Evandale Moody, he's a graduate of technical. And you know, there were many other engineers before him from technical. You see, meteorologist Catherine Kamabach, they were from technical. The present World Wildlife head for Belize, Nadia Bud, all these people are from technical, still functioning today, right? And so it was from way back 1952 and still having an impact on Belize. So we figured that something like that shouldn't just die off and nobody do anything about it, right? So it's documented in the book, right? And I know I jokingly said to the audience this morning that usually people would refer to their alma mater. And in fact, the students, the graduates from here, don't have an alma mater anyway. So we said that at least the book would be the alma book, so that they could have that, right?
The authors say they hope the book will reconnect alumni, inform younger generations about the foundation of technical education in Belize, and spark conversations about the future of vocational learning. The book is available in Belize City for $100 and on Amazon for $100 US. After the break, FinSec says raffle regulations are to protect the public. Stay tuned.
Want all the postpaid perks without the commitment? Now you can with Smart Supercharged prepaid plans. All the talk, text, and data you need. No contracts, no hassle. Pay upfront for your package and enjoy total freedom. No commitments. Just simple, flexible plans that fit your life. Pick your power, Core, Edge, or Prime. Prepaid plans ready when you ready. Commit to no commitments and get yours today. Dial 7526 or star 100 pound key, use the Smart app, or visit a Gimme Dollar agent to purchase today. Smart, bringing people together.
Un grupo de gente que hemos trabajado muy duro y la tierra es para la gente de Bellavista. ¿Para qué? Para que los jóvenes puedan tener tierra. ¿Para qué? Para que los jóvenes puedan desarrollarse en el futuro. Algo que les hacía falta por mucho tiempo. Nuestros padres vienen de las fincas bananeras. Somos gentes que hemos sufrido mucho. Y ustedes como jóvenes se merecen mejores oportunidades.
If you didn't have land before, you will have land now. Once you have land, you have wealth.
I think they want to build, they want to settle.
I'm already having dreams of my home and everything.
You know, the wires are just, I'm really excited. I'm really happy. I can finally begin to build a house.
It's just a great feeling, you know.
Mi amigo es un hermano, una persona para el pobre. ¿Estamos de acuerdo?
One of the reasons I applied for a credit card at Atlantic Bank was because I travel a lot. I'm always going here and there and everywhere, and having that card made my life so much easier. I could literally charge everything. I had no issues. I don't have to worry about carrying money, and that has been one of the most effective points. Using my Atlantic Bank credit card has improved my life drastically. I learned to budget properly, the online service that it gives, the features that it has, and also knowing that when I'm shopping online, it has a protective feature for it. Having an Atlantic Bank credit card, especially having two sons that are always wanting something. They want to shop here and they want to shop there. The good part about it is I get to look at Atlantic online to see where my spending is and to make sure I'm staying in budget.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Yes, I want to do farming, fruits, vegetables, anything. You don't have to go out there and buy, you know, you have your own thing.
This never happened when I come in the two, baby. That's what you do.
200 lots, more lots than people in the land of Equasia. So when I pick them when I ban yet to get land.
You could look at all of them, how happy they are. They're so, man, these people don't know how to express themselves right now.
People who have never had a land before, will live here for years, finally get something to say, okay, I own, I have something in my name, you know.
So when you get your piece of land, you have to hold on to your land. You have something to pass on to your picnic.
Use your land, make it useful.
Don't sell your land because it is gold. You're investing in your own selves and your children down the road.
I know how to say thank again because it's a great achievement.
It's an massive season with massive deals and rewards at Penny's. From now through December 31st, earn double B-Bucks on store-wide purchasing every Saturday. That's right, 2 times the B-Bucks, which means 2 times the cash back when shopping at Penny's. Plus, get even more rewards with B-Bucks Builders on home goods, tiles, appliances, paints, and lights. And don't forget, there's also massive deals and discounts on tiles and the best brands in paints like Benjamin Moore and BH. Rewards, deals, B-Bucks. You can get it all this massive season only at Penny's. Quality and savings.
Need to submit your sickness benefit claim online and have a physical medical certificate? Here's how you can do it. First, go to ssbportal.org.bz and log into your My Social Security account. Next, on your dashboard, click Benefits and choose Forms. Review the requirements, then click Continue to proceed. Click Apply under Sickness Benefit to start your claim. Review and confirm your banking information. If it is not correct, select No and follow the steps to update your banking details. If your banking information is correct, select Yes. Next, if your illness is not related to an injury at work, select No and proceed to upload your medical certificate. Select your claim period and confirm your employer details.
read the declarations and click each to agree. Click Submit, and you're done. A confirmation email will be sent to you. Your employer will also receive an email with your claim details and a request for your salary information. If needed, submit your sickness benefit claim online and receive real-time status updates.
The Dangriga Sub-Treasury on St. Vincent Street has been the target of burglars several times in recent years. It happened yet again last November when thieves only got away with about $1,000. In August 2024, they made off with almost $40,000. The FinSec was asked it could have been an inside job.
It's really unfortunate. We tried to put in as many, short of putting in 24-hour security. That may be the next step, we don't know. And put in a lot of effort in strengthening the place. If you've seen pictures on the internet, I mean, it was over a holiday weekend, a holiday. The building, we have it in a cage, we have lock boxes and so it may come to a point where we may have to think of a new location. We're not there yet, you know, but or possibly even 24-hour security on the buildings, because it's a reflection of the times we live in. We don't. We're leaving it to the police to do the investigation. Disciplinary means, unless there's some fault in the procedure, we don't know. We haven't detected that. Unfortunately, the loss this time was relatively small, under $1,000, I'm told. But still, any loss is a problem. So we're taking steps to try to strengthen the place a little bit more. But it may come that we have to move. We haven't made that decision yet. No?
Is it likely that it's an inside job?
I don't know. And I wouldn't want to speculate. I really don't know. I mean, the amount of effort that went into that, I don't know. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of money stolen. So if it was an inside job, presumably they would have waited for, although the procedures are paying in money regularly. I can't say. You know, I would want to give the staff the benefit of the doubt, because we really don't know. There's nothing to say that indicates that.
Why do you think this location is such a target for criminals?
Well, you know, the question one time is, why do you rob banks? That's where the money is. You know. But we do have procedures in place where we pay in the day's collection at the end of the evening. So to minimize the holding of any cash or valuables. And quite frankly, we're encouraging people to make as many online payments as possible. You can't do it all, you know, but to try to make us cashless as possible.
At the beginning of the month, all persons who conduct raffles are advised that if the prizes will total more than $500, they need to obtain a license or letter of authorization from the Lotteries Committee. The committee notified that all approved raffles are assigned a reference number which must be displayed on all tickets. Licensees approved for raffles are posted on the committee's website. Approval for raffles is required by law. The financial secretary explained that some raffles involve high-value prizes and the measure is a safeguard to protect the public.
Our Gaming Act, again, our Gaming Act is, they're basically for consumer protection. You know, somebody, first of all, once a single raffle could become big, there's no protections for the participants. It's a question of trust, really. You know, supposing, for instance, somebody wants to raffle up something of medium value. It's not a turkey or a case of soft drinks or a beer to try to raise funds for a sick or something like that. But suppose there's something, there has to be some registration, some accountability, because people can take the money and run. That's what the purpose of the law is.
The Chief Justice has appointed 10 senior counsels to serve as settlement officers pro bono. Their appointments took effect on December 1. The officers will oversee judicial settlement conferences so as to settle proceedings or narrow the issues in dispute, to save time and resources, expedite the final resolution of the dispute, and empower disputing parties to create mutually acceptable resolutions. The list includes Eamon Courtney, Rodwell Williams, Magali Marin Young, Andrew Marshalek, and Frederick Loomer. The Strong Coast Project is wrapping up a 2-day cookie workshop on the Placentia Peninsula aimed at advancing scientific knowledge and community collaboration in mangrove conservation and blue carbon research. The sessions were led by Dr. Rafael J. Araujo of the University of Miami's Rosenshaw School and brought together a diverse group of regional and international experts. The workshop focused on building capacity in mangrove ecosystem science with an emphasis on blue carbon dynamics, tree ring analysis, and ecosystem engineering techniques that support informed coastal decision making. 35 representatives from conservation groups, academic institutions, government agencies, and coastal communities participated. Among them were members of the Belize Forest Department, Hull Chan Marine Reserve, National Women in Fisheries Association, Fragments of Hope Southern Environmental Association, TIDE, Crocodile Research Coalition, WWF Mesoamerica, and faculty and students from universities across Belize, Colombia, Ecuador, the United States, and the Virgin Islands, alongside local fishers and tour guides. The workshop is part of the Strong Coast initiatives in Belize, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Florida. It envisions resilient coastal communities where nature-based solutions such as mangrove and coral restoration protect people and livelihoods. And an Orange Walk man is under medical observation at the Northern Regional Hospital after reportedly ingesting what is suspected to be paraquat, a highly toxic herbicide. According to relatives, the incident followed a domestic dispute after his partner applied for child maintenance through the family court. The man allegedly threatened to drink poison and proceeded to a shed on the property where he began consuming liquid from a gallon believed to contain paraquat. Family members intervened and rushed him for treatment despite his resistance. Police are investigating the incident. And with that, we've come to the end of our newscast. The repeat can be viewed on the station later tonight at 9 and again tomorrow at midday. Join us again tomorrow for another edition of the news. And remember, you can always catch up with the day's top stories on our YouTube channel and Facebook page under XTV Belize. And you can watch the evening news live on our XTV BHNI app. I am Drea Espinosa. Have a safe and enjoyable evening.